Well, hello. Welcome to my fireside chat on the 12 associate clinical sign. We're up to ACS 10, which is the role reversal use of the child. And this is one of the central and core symptoms of the pathology. And so this this symptom intertwines with many of the others relative to the pathology in the family courts. Um, and in the research, Greenham, Childers, and Pruder, based on Dorsey Pruder's custody resolution method data set, looked at 46, the prevalence of the 12 ACS in 46 court involved families. All 46 families had the three diagnostic indicators of the, that I describe in foundations. All of them had five or more of the ACS. 45 of the 46 families had eight or more of the ACS. And ACS 10, the role reversal, was found in 96% of families. So you're going to find it. And I bet you if you did clinical interviews, you'll find it in 100% of the families. The role reversal, classically, the way to kind of recognize it, it's not me, it's the child who dot dot dot. Okay, it's not me, it's the child, and so they're always putting the child out front, and then they manipulate what the child wants or supposedly wants to be what they want, and so they're using the child, and exploiting the child in doing this psychological control. So the child displays a role reversal with the parent. It's not me, it's the child who wants, you know, to, you know, go to private school. It's the child who wants to take dance lessons instead of soccer. It's the child who's rejecting the other parent. It's not me. I encourage the child to have a bond to the other parent. It's not me, it's the child who's doing it. And so it's always putting the child out in front. So we can never get to their cause because they're always putting the child. It's the child who is rejecting. It's the child who's his child. No, it's the influence of the pathological parent. One of the ways I think about this is just your classic ventriloquist kind of thing, where you have a ventriloquist with a puppet on the stage, and they're doing all the talking for the puppet. That puppet's not the real thing. It's not doing any talking. But when you get other people to like interact with the act, they'll wind up talking to the puppet as if the puppet was a real thing, because that's just what happens. And so this is very much where the parent is controlling the child like a puppet, and then they get to use the child, exploit the child to get whatever they want in the situation, get the power. So the narcissistic and dark personality pathologies manipulate and exploit others for personal gain. The allied parent is using their manipulative psychological control, Barber, of the child to first generate and then exploit the child's verbally expressed wishes, which are actually the allied parent's wishes, transferred to the child through enmeshment and psychological control. Once the allied parent has psychological control of the child, the parent then exploits their psychological control over the child to get whatever they want. So it's basically a two-step process. You first induce, you three-step. You develop the coalition, the enmeshed relationship, the loyalty alliance. Then you generate from the child what the child's wishes are. Wouldn't you like to go to this new school? It's a much better school. Look how wonderful this is. And the child says, yeah, that's a wonder, because of their alliance and coalition wanting to please the parent, regulatory object for that parent. Role reversal is the regulatory object function of the child. And so once you get the child's wishes in place, then you just go on ACS2. We should listen to the child, empowering the child. We should listen to the child, what they want to do for, sports, what school they want to go to, whether or not they want to reject the parent and have visitation. We should listen to the child. So ACS2 and ACS10 work together, and ACS1 force. We shouldn't force the child to go on visitation. The child should be allowed to decide who they want to go with. And it's not me who's influencing the child. The child's making their own independent decision about rejecting the other parent. So that's the sort of narrative structure that gets created surrounding this pathology. So the source sort of origin is in manipulation and exploitation. It's not me, it's the child who gives power to the pathological parent to get whatever they want. They just have to manipulate it through the child and disempowers everybody else if they can get ACS2 in place. If we don't accept that, then it makes us all look like we're not listening to the child, or we don't care what the child says. And the alive parent cares what the child says. I'm the protective parent, but you bad people don't care what the child wants. And so it's all a manipulative kind of setup that they create. So parents are responsible for exercising decision making and leadership in the family, period. And so if you have a parent who's abdicating their parental rights to the child and empowering the child, red flag should go up that the child is serving as a regulatory object for the parent, and the parent is manipulating and controlling the child. The narcissistic borderline dark personality parent is first manipulating the child, psychological control, to generate the desired statements. And then they seek to hide behind the child. It's not me or the child. And I view it very much as they're hiding behind the child. If you want the child to go to private school, that's fine. Come out and say that and let the targeted parents say, no, it's too expensive. We want public school. And you can have an authentic discussion about that. But to create the desire in the child, a 10-year-old child deciding on what school they go to for future life, no, that's a parental decision. And so that is very manipulative. So, yeah, and this is a symptom feature of the cross-generational coalition. So once you get the coalition in place, then the child is in the mesh relationship with the allied parent and is basically parroting what that parent wants out of loyalty to that parent, and because it's a good kid. They have a fragile narcissistic borderline dark personality parent. They have a fragile parent. They're taking care of that parent. They are acting as a regulatory object for the needs of that parent, and so they're kind of being a good kid. The problem is we don't want them. They don't need to take care of the emotional and psychological needs of a pathological parent. They can go back to being a kid, get out of the spousal conflict, and just go back to just being a kid, loving both parents, and more importantly, in my view, receiving the love of both parents. That's what my request would be from the child. Yeah, what you do on loving both parents, we can talk about. That's not the issue as much. What I'm most concerned about is that the child is accepting and receiving the love of both parents. That's critical to the child's healthy development. So with that, let's move on to ACS 11, that the child or that the targeted parent deserves to be rejected. This is central to the pathology, ACS 11. So let's go talk about that.